Marhaba, and welcome to the Matrix Green Pill, where real people connect.
Hello and welcome back to the Matrix Green Pill podcast. I'm Hilmarie Hutchison, and today I am thrilled to introduce you to a remarkable individual whose journey through the world of design and resilience has left an indelible mark on both industries. Katerina Kapellaki. She is a distinguished international luxury property creator, author, educator, and resilience advocate. But before I say too much, let's hear from Katerina herself. Katerina, welcome and thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I so appreciate it. I love what you do and I'm excited to be a part of your podcast.
Fantastic. So to start off, could you please tell us a bit about yourself?
Absolutely, I'd love to. So I've worked on 5 continents within interior design and architecture, here to help as many people as I can in the world of business, in the world of growth, in the world of personal growth, as well as business growth. So I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. In my bio that people will have seen if they don't know me already, I've worked with TV through the US, via the US, and radio. I've spoken on platforms, face-to-face, international speaking. It's more around the world of architecture and design and business.
What was it that got you down this path? When you were a kid growing up, what was the dream and how did you end up following this career?
Coming from a Greek background, architecture's everything. So civilization, where did architecture start? I've always had, my second vein, as I say. The first one's for my family. The second one is property. Growing up as a young child, hearing my parents being in orphanages, I used to hear about where they lived, what their rooms were like, how they grew up. And I used to actually start drawing the spaces and trying to create better spaces, or as I used to call them, happy homes. So I just had a real passion back then, but I didn't realize that that was my life's path, I guess, until I was actually much older. And then I continued and I just haven't looked back.
In addition to the architecture and design that you're part of, you're also a published author. Could you tell us more about the inspiration behind your books and what you hope readers will take away from them?
Of course. I'm about to publish my second book. My first book, I had a lovely young girl contacting me from India on social media. She studied something that she didn't really enjoy. However, her dream as a young child was to become an interior designer. She said to me, "Can you teach me?" Obviously, I'd never met the young girl, we hadn't spoken, just via message. And I said, of course. So I started writing. And this was for the girl, her name was Aswathi, in India. And then I was sending her these little notes, teaching her as I was going. And then I thought, why can't I just create a book for everybody else as well? They're coffee table style, but they're also quite educational. The book that I'm about to launch as well next month in November, it's a follow-on. So it's called Interior Design Decadence Alpha to Omega, which in the Greek alphabet is like A to Z in English. And it just takes you through the world of interior design and architecture. So it initially started helping somebody out and then constantly creating content and sharing it with more than one person, which thankfully my first book went out globally and I'm hoping the same for the second.
Excellent. And congratulations on both your first book and the next one coming out.
Thank you.
As you say, it's certainly a way to reach a larger audience.
Absolutely. I mean, there are a lot of people out there who are unaware or they have a passion or it's a secret passion of theirs, or they may be already running a business and just need some more assistance, more guidance, or it could be people who are looking to build a house or to renovate. And there's just a lot of, should I call them green pill nuggets or golden nuggets in the books that really assist and guide people in any path that they're following in property.
You're certainly very accomplished. Now, you're also a judge for the prestigious HIA Awards, which is the Housing Industry Association Awards in Australia. You've set standards for excellence in interior design. What qualities do you believe set exceptional designs apart from the rest?
There are quite a few things. However, I love to look at ingenuity. I love to see how people, now when I say people, I'm talking people in the building, construction, teams. So obviously they have their architects, they have their designers, they have their cabinet makers, they have their tradespeople. There's a whole team as to what we look at when we're judging. I love to look at innovative design, innovative construction, thinking outside of the normal thought process. What I do say to people is look around, and this is something that I've always done and it's helped me excel in the field, is don't just look around what's happening in your city, in your town, not even in your country. Look abroad. I've always looked into Dubai. We can talk later as well. I've worked on some projects in Dubai in the past, but look at different countries. You know, you may find something that is quite unique for your country or wherever people are from, maybe not so unique in other parts of the world, and they can take that in. So I'm always looking at different design, different elements that are different to everybody else. I need differentiation. It could be something from sustainability. It could be renewable energy. It could be the color scheme. So much really comes into it. So there are I can't just say 1, 2, or 3 things that I look at. It is a number of things that I take into consideration whilst judging. I think it really comes down to differentiation and good quality build.
That makes sense. In the fast-paced world of luxury property creation and interior design, how do you stay updated with the latest trends and technologies while preserving timeless elements in your work?
Being ahead is always looking at appliances, looking at content, looking at new designs, creating designs. So you need to be ahead of everybody else. Now, whether it's by looking to the rest of the world and seeing, again, for example, what's happening in Dubai, what's happening in the UAE, what's happening in the US, what's happening in Paris. I think taking elements from all parts of the world and bringing those together has really helped me excel in the field and not just looking, what's in my backyard, as they say. So I think that's very special for anybody in property, whether they're a developer, whether they're a designer, an architect, or whatever the case may be. It's researching for resources, seeing what's out there, or even creating your own resources.
You've mentioned some of the work you've done in Dubai. Can you unpack that a little bit? Tell us a bit about the projects or some of the projects that stand out for you that you've done in the UAE.
So a couple of years back, we had 18 villas, as you call them, in Dubai for a lovely gentleman in Emirates Hills. He was doing a new build and just required from us it was more furniture placement. Not the design. It wasn't interior architecture on our end, but it was more for furniture placement and setting above standards and differentiating again into what Dubai's market currently had, because these were investment properties for him. So it was an absolute pleasure working with this gentleman who had started from nothing, who migrated to Dubai a few years back. And I can't mention who he is, but he's a very, very successful businessman in Dubai.
How exciting. Excellent. What advice would you give someone just starting out in luxury property creation and or interior design?
What would I tell them to start? They need to be fully trained. They need to understand what they're doing. They need to learn the craft. So when I say the craft, it's not about styling. It's not about color schemes. It's about the structure and the bones of interior architecture, because I always say interior design is interior architecture. It's not styling. Styling is also a part of that. So what they need to do is get qualified. It's like a building. So they need to have the bones, as we say, in building. They need to have that structure. They need to have the knowledge. And then they can build off that and start getting creative and doing the things that I've mentioned before. So education is key. How they do that, there are multiple platforms. I've also written an advanced diploma in interior design, which I teach online, but I also teach in person, where they do get certification. So again, education's key. And then off that, they can just launch their own businesses.
There's no shortcut. You've got to get the basics right. You've got to get that education, and then you have a foundation to build on.
Absolutely. I mean, it's great to say, let's read a book and we're ready to go. But interior design is a business. You're spending people's money, if I can say that. People are trusting you with their savings to create spaces for them, whether it's development or just interior design. You really need to have the knowledge. You need to know how to budget. You need to know how to project manage. Obviously, the colors, flooring, anything that has to do with the structure and interior architecture, they really need to understand the bones of all of that.
Your work has touched design enthusiasts on 5 continents. How do you adapt your designs to suit different cultural and regional preferences while maintaining your unique style?
Absolutely brilliant question. I love it. So it is, again, not about me. It's about the client. It's about their needs. It's what makes them happy. Because as I said in the beginning of our discussion, I started to create happy homes as a small child, even before going to school. Whether they're in, let's just say Dubai again, whether they're in Dubai and they would like something, they might want something like Californian. It really depends on what they want. And then I can craft my ideas and my intelligence, if we can call it that, my engineering brain to make the perfect outlay for them. It doesn't matter where they are in the world. They can take anything from any continent and make it their own. And that's the uniqueness of it. So it's not my taste. It's not what do I like. It's my expertise and my engineering mind and how to create what they want and to make it better than what they had initially envisaged.
Very, very good. So it's about, as you say, understanding their vision. It's not trying to put your stamp on their vision.
Absolutely. I mean, we're here to serve. And as designers and architects, we're here to serve and to create beautiful spaces for the clients. So they may come to us with either a little sketch or they may come with 10 dot points or something like that. And that's where the creation and the magic starts to happen. And that's where we put the expertise. And again, I keep saying the engineering mind and the creativeness into packaging a beautiful product for them. When I say product, it could be a home, it could be a hotel, it could be a building, it could be an office, whatever the space may be. Again, it's just adding our touch to their vision.
Excellent. Now, let's change directions and talk about resilience. I know this is something important for you. Can you tell us what resilience means to you and the role it's played in your life and in your career?
So I say to people, and I do have people come to me not just about design, but those who know that I have had unfortunate challenges in life with health, they do come and ask me, how have you bounced back? And I just say to them, I've bounced forward because I have to. And we have to think that whether we've gone through any illness or any challenges in life, they're there for a reason. They're there to help us learn and to help us grow. And people have to think that they can't just stay back and think of the past. They really need to leap forward because they have no other choice. And once they see that they have no other choice, that's when they just go at a million miles an hour, as we say. They just get up and they leap forward. If I can just mention, so I've had multiple strokes. The last one I had was in December of last year. So we're 10 months now, sitting in the hospital bed a few days later and starting to recover. I actually, for people who understand how the brain works, and my mind went into theosis, which is basically, I could start seeing, so I pray a lot as well. So I was praying and I was asking, and I was asking God, and I said, what do I need? What am I doing wrong? Is there something I need to change in my career? Is there something I need to do? And I was seeing on the hospital table, which is above the bed, things performing in front of me. It was the new book. It was certain things that I'm currently working on, and it's all about serving people. And I could just see it as clear as day. And since recovering, that's what I've been working on. I've always been about service to people. Creativity has helped me and helped others so much in doing that, in servicing people and assisting. The challenge that I did go through had sort of put everything into perspective, and I'm happy to help guide people on that as well. So when it comes to resilience, you have no choice. You just need to keep going. We've been built, like we have so much power within us. People don't realize until we have nothing left in us. Now, when I say that, I'm talking life. When people sense that they have no life in them, that's when we really see how much power as people. I mean, God made us to be so powerful and to keep moving forward. And I think before people actually get there and run themselves into the ground, as they say, or do get sick for certain reasons, They just need to understand, literally, we were all born the same. We all have the same powers. We just need to have a lot more faith and just keep leaping forward.
I love that, your take on this, that it's not bouncing back, it's actually bouncing forward. We're leaping forward out of difficult situations, and that we have it in us to have that resilience. And also, thank you for sharing this very personal experience in your life and how that has impacted your decisions going forward. You mentioned that service to others is important to you, and I know that you've dedicated yourself to inspiring and uplifting others. Can you maybe share a story of someone that you've mentored or inspired that found their own resilience and success?
Absolutely. So there are a few people that I can think of. However, because I did touch on Aswathi, who was in India and still is, I did inspire her, and she literally stopped doing what she was doing, which is what she'd studied. She did complete a course in interior design. She changed the way she lived. She married the man that she actually wanted to marry because she was betrothed, as they say, but she did marry the man she wanted to marry. She changed her life around because she could see that there were more options in life. Having discussions with me, I guess, and just all of the posts and platforms, social media back then, that I was doing my own posts back then and filling everything with color, like all of my posts were full of color and positive messages. I didn't realize how much these posts affected her. So what I was then doing after following up and chatting with her and seeing how she was going, she told me how much all of this had affected and changed her life. So I then made it a goal to privately message 20 people a day just to put a smile on their face wherever they were around the world, whether it was just a simple post or how are you or what a beautiful day or God bless you, whatever the case may be. So I had back then, let me reach out to 20 people a day and just see what change we can make. And that was all from the feedback that I did get from Aswathi in India.
Wow, what a fantastic experience. And wow, to get that feedback and that it impacts both her and yourself in what you did is fantastic.
I'm sorry to interject. I mean, even just going on a morning stroll and saying good morning to people or saying, wow, I love those pants or gee, those shoes, without knowing them, you don't know what they're going through. You honestly don't. You don't know what their day's looking like. You don't know where they've been. And just smiling or saying something or saying, gee, you have beautiful hair. You know, some people look and think, oh, you know, who's this person? But others, they're just thrown back and they're like, thank you so much. You know, you've made my day. And I think as people, that's what we need to do, whether it's through business or personal or even just walking to the shops, for example. Let's try to create more happiness.
I think if there's a key takeaway from today, if our listeners take one thing away, it's do these small things. It doesn't take anything to say one positive thing. Or as you say, find 20 people and just say one small thing. You don't know the impact that it could have on that person's day, on their life. I love that. I think that's a fantastic green pill that you've shared with us today. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I love that. Now we've come to our lightning round, our game show. We'll do some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
I am ready. I'm on fire. Let's go.
If you could design a dream space anywhere in the world, where would it be?
I'm so inspired by the Burj Al Arab, and I always have been. I would come to Dubai.
Okay, perfect.
If I could turn my flash rocket on and jump in there and bring my family, I'd come straight over to Dubai.
Fantastic. One design rule you swear by no matter what?
Feeling, gut feeling, positive feeling and understanding. So when you're designing, you need to feel and understand the energy, the space, the people, and what you're creating.
If you had to pick one color to use exclusively for the next year, what would it be?
This is too exciting. I love the questions. I would go gold.
Oh, nice. That would be your color for the year. I love it. Your go-to mantra when facing a design challenge or a tough day?
Oh, my gut. Again, I'm sorry. I know it sounds boring, but I always trust my gut and I close my eyes and God just sends things into my brain and I just start creating from there. So I just take a few deep breaths, close my eyes, say a prayer, and here come the balloons and the sparkles and the creative designs.
Fantastic. What is one thing you do every day, no matter how busy you are?
I pray.
Wonderful. Well, that was the end of the game show, and that was easy enough. Now, before we wrap up, I'd like to ask you about your green pill moment. Could you share an inspiring or life-changing experience that you have gone through, your green pill moment?
We did touch on it again as well. Coming back to life after having my last stroke and just jumping forward, realizing that nothing is worth the stress. Family is more important. Faith is important. We need to put the important things first and not stress as we do. So here are a few things. We can say no to business. Time is of the essence. How long are we here for? And it's just creating a beautiful lifestyle for yourself and those around you. So my green pill moment for that was when I did have my last stroke, and I've learned a lot from that.
And I love that message as well, to choose what to focus on in life, because life is short and how important family is. I love that as well.
I'm blessed to say that I have 3 amazing children. I thank God for them every day. I have an amazing husband. So, I'm the only female in the house out of 5. So I need to create some spunk in here as well, as they say, because there are so many men in the house. But again, it's a blessing.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing your incredible and compelling story with us today. I am no doubt our audience is going to love this conversation as much as I have. Before we say goodbye, could you please tell our listeners where they can find and follow you? And we'll also put this in the show notes.
Absolutely. So I'm open to receiving messages. They could send messages to my Instagram, which is Katerina.Kapellaki. I actually personally respond to those messages. So any questions, more than happy to assist. Website is Katerina- or dash, as they say, kapellaki.com. I think those 2 platforms would be easier for me to contact them direct, or else usually staff do see other emails, etc., but they can contact me direct on Instagram. And again, I'm more than here for service. Happy to assist, answer anyone's inquiries, just if they can just put in the message that they are through this podcast, and I'm more than happy to assist them.
I love that. Thank you again for joining me today. I wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much for having me today. I so enjoyed it. So much fun. Congratulations with what you do. And I pray that everything continues as blessed as it is for you in life.
If you enjoy our conversations, please like and subscribe. See you next Wednesday.